Hello everyone and welcome to Chat with Nene Alice. If this is your first time tuning in to Chat with Nene Alice, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to send in your comments. Viewers, I also want to let you know that we are chasing 1,000 subscribers before the end of October. So if you have not subscribed, please do me a favor by subscribing, because I'm bringing you premium content. So just keep subscribing and keep liking the videos so that together we can all improve on this channel. Well, viewers, today we are going to talk about women and politics. How do we get women involved into politics? And today I have with me the legendary, the most outstanding political woman in Sierra Leone, and the most fabulous and awesome Honorable Dr. Bernadette Lahai. She is with me here today so that we can have that conversation. But I just want to give you a brief background about women and politics in Sierra Leone. According to analysis, according to books that we have read, and according to research, we know that political and decision-making processes in Sierra Leone are most times fraughted by inequalities, particularly gender inequalities, and which disadvantage women to most extent. And we also know that as women, we are suffering from systemic and structural factors that continues to set us aback, even when we want to make some progress. Again, we also know that in terms of elective and appointive positions in Sierra Leone, we know that women are not in the forefront. If you look at the various analysis, you go to the parliament, you look at the analysis there, you realize that we have more men than women. You look at appointive position, we also know that we have more men than women. And we all know that since time in origin, women have contributed to the development of Sierra Leone. And the reason why we are back, we really don't know, even though we have tried to explore so many avenues. And we also know that one way we can get involved into serious decision making is by us getting involved in our political parties, which we also know that we are not seeing women getting involved in those kind of things. And so that's why we have invited Honorable Dr. Bernadette Lahai to help us facilitate this kind of conversation. So I just want to introduce you, Honorable Bernadette, to Chat with Nene Alice. You want to say a few words to the viewers and then introduce yourself?
Good evening, viewers, or good morning or good afternoon, wherever, whenever you listen to this chat. I'm Honorable Dr. Bernadette Lahai, former Member of Parliament, former Minority Leader, and then former Vice President of the Pan-African Parliament. I'm presently the President of the Women's Shadow Parliament and also an Associate Lecturer in the Department of Agricultural Extension and Sociology in Jala, my alma mater. So I'm happy to have this conversation with you. I hope that at the end of the day, the unconverted will be converted, but at the end of the day, it will be also for the good of women, especially those who want to get into leadership positions, either at the political level or at whatever level you may intend to.
Okay, thank you, Honorable. Let's start the conversation now. My very first question that I want to ask you is this: why should women be involved in politics?
For many reasons, and for many good reasons. Women and men have, first of all, they are not homogeneous. Women and men were so different biologically, and even the social construct, social construct, I mean, the roles and responsibilities and statuses that the society has accorded us, are not the same. The privileges that are available to us, men and women, are not the same. Also, there's gender role differentiation in our societies, in the home, or even in the employment system. When you go to agriculture, there are gender role differentiation in the operations, in the crops, and in the tasks that men and women perform. even when you go to the informal sector, for example, even in the commerce, you know, women and men tend to specialize in different things and so forth and so on. Even in the professions, you know, there are some professions where you have more women and other professions where you have more men. So women and men are very, very different. They are heterogeneous. And over the years, you know, through their socialization, the way they are brought up, you know, they are trained to behave, you know, in what is expected of them, either feminine behavior or masculine behavior. And if you must conform to it, otherwise you have sanctions or rewards, you know, when you conform or when you deviate from it. So as you grow up, you take up adult role, your perspectives in life are different, the dimensions are different. Our natural biological differences also give us certain differences. So that is why, not only in politics, but in any decision-making sphere, you want to bring in both men and women, because they will bring in different perspectives based on their experiences as a family, as women, in the groups that they belong to. For politics especially, it's important that women are in politics, not maybe at the bottom of politics, but where the decisions are made. Politics especially, you know, is where decisions are made about national development, where political decisions are made, and those political decisions permeate, you know, to other decision making in the social, economic, and other spheres. So that is where the power is. That is where decisions are made that affects the generality of the life of the average citizen. So so in situations like that, you expect that because the decisions that are being made are going to affect women themselves, you know, and the rest of the membership of society, you want to bring in on the development table or decision-making table those whose lives will be impacted, so that you will have as many dimensions as possible that will give you several options in terms of your decision-making, and also in terms of the solutions you want to in providing welfare services and development services to your country and to your citizens. So it's always important that not one gender dominates that decision making, and we have seen how dysfunctional that tendency has been. It has not worked, or it has not properly worked, and it has resulted in a lot of resource wasting and time wasting. So studies have shown that when women sit on the decision making table, they come with they have their own particular concerns. They are concerned with welfare, with those issues and policies that affects the community, you know, the children, the youth, and the welfare of the community.
Okay, so I just want to take you to the next question. At what point in your life, as an individual, should you get involved in politics? The reason why I'm asking you this question is, growing up as a child, I realized that when you look at people who are in leadership, or maybe let me say politicians, most times you see people who have retired, people who, you know, who are older. You know, when you talk about the mayor, you want to see an ageable person, somebody who has worked a lot and has retired and is now the mayor. Or maybe the member of parliament is somebody also that looks like your dad, you know, and stuff like that. So at what stage in your life should you be involved in politics?
The scenario is changing, as we can see. Of course, you are right. Maybe 30, 40 years ago, you know, you didn't expect a 20-year-old man or woman to be in politics. Our experience of people in politics then, maybe in the 60s, we are ageable men from 50 upwards, well accomplished, with families, who also wage a lot of power in their society, in the community and society. But when we look at, we compare even the age of politicians maybe 30, 40 years ago and now, the scenario is changing. That means you are getting more relatively younger, middle-aged men and women than the scenario you described. Yeah, and that has a lot to do with our democratization process. A lot of the intergenerational discourse, between men and women, between the older generation and the younger generation, the dissatisfaction of the younger generation with the older generation, not wanting to give them space, to space of whatever type, they not wanting to give them space for their voices to be heard, not wanting to give them space, to also develop their experiences and so forth and so on. But I can say that there's no particular age that anybody can go into politics. All has to do with the individual. Because I remember the late S.B. Mara of blessed memory, when he used to recount his political entrance, he was in his maybe between 20 and 30. He was one of the youngest then, and a lot of reasons, coming from that part of the country, in Kabbalah and all those things, from that part of ethnic group, wherein you didn't see much of politics. So it all depends. But for me, any age, you can decide to come into politics at any age, because it's also a personal decision, but also it is influenced also by your environment. The environment is also important. Maybe because why we didn't see more young people 20, 30, 40 years ago was the environment and the political system and the democratization system. The world was not a global village then. We didn't know, maybe we didn't have this technological explosion that we are now seeing, and therefore you didn't have bench institutions of people that you can benchmark with. You didn't know what was happening, or even if you knew, but it took you a longer time to know, what was happening on the other side of the globe and so forth. We didn't have this type of experience, sharing travel, where, we're exchanging experiences, visits, and all those things. So, but all of this, excuse me, have played major role in now determining when people want to go into politics and when people don't want to go into politics. So I would say for now, we really don't have any cut-off age. It depends on a lot of things. And as I said, if there are now these dynamics that we are seeing, that more relatively younger people are coming into, because like in Africa we have a youth bulge, the population is made up of more youth, and therefore at some point in our lives, those who sit on the decision-making table should also reflect the general characteristics of the society. So if we have more youth and more women in society, then we expect that, we will have more of these people on the development table.
Okay, the question I want to ask, now I have, learned from you why we should be in politics and at what time you should get into politics. The other question now is, based on your experience and talking to that woman out there, what do you think that individual, be it a man or a woman, but more so the women, should put in place before they get into politics?
You see, like any profession, you have to prepare yourself. Prepare yourself in the sense that you should read around the profession, because every profession has its qualification, has its demands, has its prospects. So you need to do all this scanning, environmental scanning. Yeah, you don't just wake up one morning and you say, tomorrow I'm going to contest. No, it needs a lot of preparation. you need to bring on board your family, especially if you are married and you have children. You have to think of them. Like when I wanted to get into politics, my children were in secondary school. Yeah, a little bit older, and
They were teenagers.
Well, yes, they were teenagers, but at least they can be left alone with caretakers or their father and so forth. I was not breastfeeding. I didn't have to, or even though my presence was important because I needed as a mother to continue to nurture them, to guide them, in the direction that we want them to be in future. But because unlike if you and I had stopped giving birth, I was no longer, I had no plans, of being a mother again, So those decisions were important. But I also had to decide with my husband, what my family, my immediate family, their perception of me going into politics, how will it affect our family life, how is it going to affect the bringing up of our children? Because if I'm going to politics, it will take me away from my house, especially when the parliament is in Freetown here, and my constituency was way in the east, in the rural area where I was born and bred, and that will mean, me traveling every now and then to the constituency, their international travels, or even around the country. You are going on meetings, party meetings, and I will need to be part of my party, taking party functions that will take me out of Freetown here into any part of the country. So it involves all of these things. And you become a public property. Your privacy is no longer yours, because you are now a public figure. And so you also have to think of the impact on your family, your behavior, your comportment, and all of those things. So one has to be prepared. You also do your own introspection. You do your SWOT analysis. Who am I? This is the job carve out. This is what is going to be my job. Do I have the strength? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What opportunities exist out there? What are the threats? You must do your own SWOT analysis in a genuine way to see, in fact, whether your strengths and the opportunities out there outweighs your threats and your weaknesses and all those things. And in doing that, you consider not only yourself also, because in assessing your opportunities, we are also looking at externalities, They are also external to you. What is the current situation, your family, and the political parties you want to join in, the current climate in the country. You look at all of these things.
Okay, let me just interrupt you on that. It's because what you're saying now is want to take me to the next thing that I want to ask you. How did you identify maybe your political party? How did you identify your allies, your patrons? How were you able to know that this is my competitor, even within the party or outside the party? Because I know in terms of competition, you have internal and external. So how were you able to, to identify all of those and then you becoming a very successful politician?
Well, first of all, let me tell you, active politics was never in my plan. It was never there. I was an academician, even though I was also very much a female and gender activist, Yeah, so I would participate in all activities, that has to do with gender, but I was still a professional working in the research institute, working in development. So it was, I took it as a passion, but not something that I would go into full time as a profession. So, but then in the women's movement after the war, with all the post-conflict reconstruction of our legislature and all of those things, we needed women. We needed good women to come in to sit where these laws are made, so that they will be there for women, by women, and all of those things. So, but how did I choose a political party? Again, that is where you also do all your analysis. Where do I come from? I come from Kanama district. which political parties have ever been after the multi-party, after, okay, we had multi-party
single party system.
Yeah, and then we had the one-party system, you know, but in a multi-party system, you know, the constituency I'm coming from is a purely, largely, you know, SLPP-led constituency.
So, for example, if, you know, if I look at both, let me say the two leading parties in Sierra Leone, APC and SLPP, if I look at their ideologies and I'm coming from Port Loko, for example, and I want to be in the SLPP party, do you think I should be thinking in that direction, or I should be thinking in an ideological way?
Well, look here, you also have to be realistic. You have to be practical, you are being realistic. What do you want to go into politics for? If it is elective politics, you are going to contest an election, yeah? So realistically, and you are coming from Makeni, you can be Potlo, you can be SLPP, no problem, because you can be there, be a formidable opposition in that part of the country. But if you are really thinking, then, you know, and even to some extent now, of going into elective politics, contesting and winning, yeah, then you have to think twice
winning seats.
About seats, you know, and therefore you have to also think of the political party that is most likely to get you into elective position like parliament or like council. Yeah? Don't talk to me about ideology, about the two political parties. Yeah? If anything, I can say the only one ideology which I am putting in inverted comma is maybe the ethnicity ideology. But believe me, this APC is a breakaway from SLPP. Yeah? And look at all the political parties, even in Sierra Leone. Look, take their constitution. It's the same. The structures are the same, the positions are the same, except for a small change, you know, where somebody says the youth league, some other parties say the young generation, the young is it ambassadors or diplomats and all those things. They call it the Women's Congress, another political party calls it the Women's Wing, and all of those things. But all the constitutions have derived from that one constitution, SLPP constitution. Yeah, and then you take the manifesto. Yeah, they are all the same because all political parties have the same goal in mind, development of Sierra Leone. What may be different in the manifestos, is the positions they put in the various, the women, the youth, the economy, and all those things. Some may bring it at the fore, some bring it in the middle, and all those things. But when you really look at the content is hardly, they are almost the same. So don't talk to me about
okay, so how did you identify your allies, your patrons, people who patronize you right through your journey? How were you able to identify them?
Well, God bless my father, and because, you know, when I wanted to go into the politics, my father is well known in our constituency, quiet man, but well known, hardworking. So he led me to the powers that be, to the paramount chief then, to the speaker, and to those traditional leaders who are also very influential in the women in the chiefdom, because then my constituency was the one chiefdom constituency, then Lower Bambara chiefdom, you know. And so I had to meet all the traditional leaders, the women, the youth, and all those things. And then, of course, the party, you know, that was in my constituency, and then my district in Kenema. I will not say I had, I was contesting with my uncles, both of them are now late, and they have been in politics, they are household names in politics, but you also are coming in new, you also have to tread seriously. For my constituency, this is the first time, that was the first time a woman is opting for parliament in that constituency. The women were three, you know, the women were three, but then, you know, I came in and I have these two elephants, you know, who are fighting, and some fear that I will be smothered under their feet and so forth and so on. But we also had the women's groups, Because I was a member of the 50-50. Yeah? We've been founding members, we have done training, we have been trained, we've done training and all those things, and we are looking for women, you know, to get into this politics, to get into parliament, to help us change our laws and so forth and so on. So these were all of course, my family, my husband was in for it and all those things. And even in the institution that I was working, when I told people they were happy for me and all of those things. But again, because at that time it was a PR system, you know, it was a list system, you know, I had some few antagonists there. Where is she coming from? What has a PhD holder got to do with villagers or with poor constituents or illiterate women and so forth? Of course, they were saying this because it was a list system. The more women, you know, that was vying in the district, you know, the district had to come up with a list, you know. So if suddenly a woman come out, you know, of my caliber, you know, and in a class A chiefdom, of course, other women who want to be on that list, yeah, they will have their own misgivings and they will say things, you know. But I gave deaf ears to them, even when they said things in my area, because I had a purpose. I was focused, you know. So they are there, but you once you are determined, you are focused, and you take your time to do things. That was what I did. I eventually, you know, I was on number 11 on the list, yeah. And then as God would have it, things happened. God had destined me in 2002 to go to Parliament. And when God destines you, He will make you do things, and He will make other people not do things, you know. So yeah, you know. So that was what He did. Then overnight I moved from 11 to number 3 on the list. Yes. So we know this story. So number 3. So, and it was a PR system, and that was a SLPP dominated area. So all what I knew, the sooner I was nominated, that everything being equal, I was now in Parliament. But we are all fighting now to have the presidency. So we have to go and campaign, educate, train, so that we will increase the vote for the political party, so that we will have the presidency. So that was it. So
okay, you know, I enjoyed your experience that you have, the experience that you have shared. The thing I want you to talk about quickly, just quickly, because I want you to give a motivational talk to a woman who is out there and want to enter politics. Quickly, how do you get involved in your constituency? Because if I'm seated here now, I'm also from Kenema, and I want to contest election in my community. How do I get involved in activities that are ongoing in my constituency so that people can notice me?
Well, that is what you said. How do you get involved? You get involved. You get involved there by being physically there, taking part in constituency, in activities in that community. You do also your analysis of who are the influential people in that community, like that community has if it is depending on the political party, well, every constituency has political parties there at various levels, at zonal level, at maybe sectional level, and all of those things. Your involvement is going to be key. Your party endorsement, you know, go there, get your party card, be up to date, you know, and then find avenues, you know, entry points, you know, in your party's activities, but also have a few of those people that people listen to, that know the constituency, have them on your side, have your own small group that you can work with, you can share, you know, they can give you intelligence, they can also lead you to other people in the constituency. Even when you are in Freetown, you have a small group there. When something happens, even before you get there, they are your messengers. They are already there preparing the way for you to come. Oh, our sister is coming, she's busy, but she's coming. She has sent us to be here, and let them all, whenever they appear with your name, and make sure that they make you visible, whether you are present or absent. When as a member of parliament, you know, I always have my people When there is a barrier, when it's something, even before I move here, you know, they are already on the ground working for me and on my behalf. When I was used to be in the Pan-African Parliament, where I would go for months or weeks, you know, I had people there for me, by me. They will give me information on a day-to-day basis. I call them in the morning, I get information, what do we do, how do we do it, who is going to be there, your portion responsibility. You get them committed. You have to have a few committed people that will die for, people that will believe in you, will defend you, you know, and all those things. And that's all. This is the way you get into it. But your physical presence, you know, especially at the beginning, is going to be very, very key, you know. Don't be controversial also at the beginning. Don't be controversial. Don't easily take sides, you know. You present yourself as a development person, as a peace builder, as a boundary spanner, you know, just bringing people together, you know, whether they are for you, they are not for you, you know, because, you know, politics, I always see, is permanent interest and not permanent enemy. People can not be for you today, but in another circumstance, instant, they will be for you. So you just work with everybody in the one, but you have to have also dependable people, people that will be for you, by you, work for you, whether you are there or you are not there. But your physical presence is no match for all of those things. Yeah.
So, Honorable Bernadette Lahai, I want you to talk to the woman who is seated there listening to us and want to go into politics. What encouragement can you give as part of your conclusion?
Yeah, they normally say politics is dirty, but it is you who makes it dirty. So I don't want a woman to be afraid of going into politics. It has, any profession has its good and bad merits. You know, it has its merits and demerits. It has its own challenges. Politics is good because it gives you the legitimate platform, especially, you know, whether in parliament or in cabinet, it gives you the legitimate platform. You may not so much have that platform if you are not in politics, yeah, especially when you want to help in development at that level. So if you are thinking of going to politics, I will say congratulations and bravo, but I will also ask you, what spade work have you done? It's very important. Have you thought of the political party you want to go in? Or if you are already in the political party, you know, because some people are already in political parties, but now they may be thinking of going into politics. So what role have you played in your political party, or are you playing in the political party, you know? Sometimes start playing a little role. When I went into politics for the first active politics, you know, I went in straight for election for the National Women's Leader. I was too bold, and that was a real audacity, you know. But I didn't go in there to win, but I went in there so that platform will be given to me to campaign. People knew me, but not as a politician, but as a researcher, as an academician, you know. So start also making that impression in the political party. Go there, you know, volunteer, opt to do things. You can go in for even political parties at that positions at that level. Don't be afraid. You lose. People have lost many times, but at the end, I lost. But in the second elections, yeah, I won. Yeah, I won overwhelmingly. Yeah, for the National Women's Leadership position. So, but prepare yourself. How do you prepare yourself? If you have a husband and a family, you know, start discussing with them and your children, yeah, because they are going to be the ones that will be most affected by your absence, or whatever happens to you, you will count on them. So get their consent, get their support, and then, you know, go to your other wider family, then get to your political party, also talking, especially where you are going to contest. Try, you know, make sure that all your dues are paid and your membership are intact. Get to the constituency, start being seen and heard, you know, more. Maybe you have been there, but you have not been that more visible. Try to be visible, take part, you know, always willing to help. Avoid controversial situations, you know, avoid taking sides, you know. For you, you are a peacemaker, you want to go and do development and so forth. Even those that you may be contesting with or also have the same idea with you, then it is their right. It is their right. just as it's your right to contest them. Don't quarrel with them. Be at peace with them, yeah? Because a time will come that you will need them. Be at peace with them, be cordial, and so forth and so on. But also, start putting your plans together, you know. Money is also going to be important. Try also and ask yourself, because money does not vote, but money wins election, yeah? It's going to, and a lot, once you are intending, people think that you have all the money, and they will come to honorable candidate this, candidate this, we want this. They will bring in personal things, you know, and also the party demands are there, you know, all those things. So also try to see how you will raise resources from family, from friends, because the party is not going to give you resources. Most of the party will rely on you to also vote to campaign for them in the one. Maybe they can give you a few party flyers here and there, you know, but you will also do the bidding, you know, for your party, especially for the presidential. So it takes a lot of resources, money and time to do all those things. So you also have to look at the logistical implications, you know, the financial implications and your time implications, yeah. So all of these things. So it needs a lot of work, a lot of reflection on yourself and how it is likely to affect you and your family and all of those things. But I will not discourage you. Once you get in there, it's good, it's nice. Yes, it has its challenges. The demands are there. But you also have other benefits. Even your visibility, your status, and all those things, you know, are important. And you can also, if you are a hardworking MP, you know, then it also leads you even to other visibilities internationally and nationally and so forth and so on. But the pressures are there. The envy is also there. Sometimes we have good friends and family, but once you go there and they now say, oh, all those things, you know, you didn't have a vehicle, now you have a vehicle. You have to have a vehicle to go to a constituency. The vehicle is a necessity. How can you be using public vehicle from Freetown? After Parliament, you get the public vehicle to go, you are moving all around the constituency. It does not work. So some of these things will crop up, you know, but you also have to expect these things that people want. When you are at the same level with people and they see a little bit of affluence, yeah, so you will always have to be ready for those things. And surprises, you know, don't be surprised on anything. So, but it's a good thing.
So, Auntie Bani, I want us to make a toast, and the toast is going to be dedicated to you. And I want to say we are happy as women to have you, and we value your experience. We value the advice you've been giving, and thank you for coming to chat with Nene Alice. And I want to say cheers to more wins.
Thank you.
Cheers to more love.
Thank you.
And cheers to more women. Power to women.
Power to women, especially our quest for the enactment of this Gender Equality Bill of 2021.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, viewers, I want to say thank you to Honorable Dr. Bernadette Lahai for coming to chat with Nene Alice. And I want to say thank you very much, Auntie Bani. And I want to also say, if this is your first time tuning in to chat with Nene Alice, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to send in your comment. Thank you very much and have a pleasant day.